Welcome
You
back,
chewing?
everybody, to the. They're eating in the Sunrise Diner there in Roselle Park. I'm here at home base. I know this is a super relevant topic for you guys and so many people around the country. If you have high school kids who plan to go to college, you know about the ACT tests, and you need to know what's happening with them because that college admissions exam is now being revamped, and the ACT officials say they made these changes to bring flexibility and choice to students, but what does that really mean?
Yeah, well, there's also some other changes as well. So let's bring in our next guest to discuss. David Blobaum is the Director of Outreach for the nonprofit National Test Prep Association. Thanks for being with us
It's my
today.
pleasure.
Great to see you. It's all of us, and Allison, as well as Dave and I, have kids that are, trying to get into college or thinking about college. So what is different first about the ACT?
Yes, so the new ACT is shorter. It also gives students more time per question. And there used to be a science score included in the overall composite, but the composite score now is only the English, math, and reading sections and an average of those. That science score is now an optional, separate, standalone score. But the most important thing to know about the new ACT is it's not really new. So the content is virtually unchanged on the new test. And actually, those old ACT tests are basically perfect practice for the new one. So we shouldn't think of it as a new one. We should think of it as a slightly updated one.
So what's your advice for parents like ourselves that have seniors right now?
Yeah, so seniors, I would make sure to be signed up for the October SAT and October ACT. Those are the last SAT and ACT test dates that basically all colleges will use for the early application deadline. So most early application deadlines for seniors, November 1st. So you can still take those two. Now, if you don't get your score by then, you can still take later SATs and ACTs and apply under the regular decision deadline. The regular decision deadline is becoming an irregular decision deadline.
Right. It seems like everybody's going early, early, early. How much of a difference does it make to do early decision versus early action versus rolling?
So early decision is massive. So you're going to increase your admissions chances by about 30%. But you can, of course, only do that to one school. So because it's such a large commitment, the college rewards you for making that large commitment. Early action certainly helps, but it's not necessarily the game changer. The best thing about early action, which is non-binding, is that you get your decision back earlier. So you know where you got in, and if you didn't get in where you want, you can then apply to some more colleges under the regular decision.
Allison?
David, what about test optional? We hear that some schools, certainly during COVID, excuse me, went test optional. Has that gone away now?
Great question. So the vast majority of schools are still test optional, but what test optional means varies a lot. So more or less, if a school or a college major is very selective, then a lot of people are applying to that school or that major. Well, how do they weed out between so many applicants? Then that's where test scores really matter. So at these schools that are accepting 90% of students, you don't really need test scores. At those schools that are denying 90% of students, you basically need test scores.
So it's not really optional at the end of the day. Isn't it assumed that if you're not putting in your test score, it's probably not high?
Correct. Yes. And so those selective schools, they want to be admitting those most academically prepared students. That's when test scores matter. And also they matter for merit aid, merit scholarship. So it can be important for not only getting into school, but affording it.
One thing I've noticed, a trend at least here in the Northeast, is every boy is applying to go to the South.
Yes.
They want to go to about a handful of schools. What's your advice when so many people are applying to the same half a dozen schools?
Yeah, so especially for schools in the South, they are more into testing, right? So you basically need your grades, you need your test scores, and that's going to be the primary determinant.
But should you be factoring in a few schools completely outside of a really popular region, like some outliers, regions that your school generally doesn't apply to? Is that overthinking it?
No, it's not overthinking it. Actually, ChatGPT does an amazing job at generating school lists. So you can put in, hey, this is my high school, my GPA, my test scores, my interests. I want rural, I want city, I want a big school, I want, frat, sorority. And it's going to this is my interest and major. It will give you a very good balanced school list of, reaches, targets, safeties.
I plugged that into Grok as well for my son, and we did come up with the list.
Wow.
But were you talking about the fact that, like, if everybody in my kid's high school graduating class wants to go to either Clemson or Florida State, do they, I mean, is it they only take a certain number from certain schools?
They say they don't. They do.
It would make sense that you want representation across the country. Allison, do you have a last question?
Yeah, one last question. If you don't like your test scores on the ACT or the SAT, you can take them again and again and again, right? Do they average all of it, or do you just go with the highest?
So there's a little bit of nuance there, but in short, you can take the test as many times as you want, and virtually all colleges will only see whatever scores you want to send to them. You can even delete ACT scores at any time for free. So take the test as many times as you need.
Doesn't mean you're going to do better, Allison.
That's right. I mean, it doesn't. And it's also torture for the kid. I mean, to take it over and over again is crazy making. But you do have that option.
Terrific to have you. Great advice. In particular, that ChatGPT info. That'll do it for today. We'll see you Monday right here on Connecting America. Have a great weekend.
You almost said tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
You're gonna
almost
show up
did.
there.
I rarely know what day it
know
is.
what day it is.
Very
He doesn't
rarely
know.
do I know what day it is.
Yeah.
I just know
And
it's
by the way, you
breakfast
can
time right
connect
now.
with all of us on social. Check us out on Instagram, LinkedIn.